Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to another episode of Honest Trailers Commentary. Today, we're talking about our wild experimental trailer for every streaming service. Oh, it's so avant-garde. What are we doing?
Really pushing the envelope of what an honest trailer can be with this one.
Joining me is Lon Harris and Joe Starr. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to talk about our thinking behind the Honest Trailer, what we really think about every streaming service, if it wasn't clear from the video. And then afterwards, we will respond to some viewer comments and show you some deleted scenes and tease you with next week's Honest Trailer, which is also going to be a fun one. Yeah. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about our next Fandom 5 trivia show, which is this Friday, and it's on The Simpsons. The Simpsons. That'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So sign up for that. You can win real money for answering questions about fake people. I'm sad I can't enter this as a Fandom employee.
Although, would you tomorrow on SJU like to do a round?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
As long as it's, and we should clarify, is this all the Simpsons seasons, or is it like... Yeah,
there are these. I just submitted these questions to Billy right before we went live here. They are mostly from the golden era. So like 2 through 10, 2 through 12.
Feel great about that.
Yeah, I really zeroed in on those. There's a few, not a lot of specifics from later seasons. Like some stuff that spans the whole show, but when we go specific, it's usually from the peak years that old folks like you and me
in season 25, what is the name of Homer's son?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like it would be crazy to do specific stuff from like the last 7 or 8 years because it doesn't have that kind of dedicated fan base anymore.
Okay, thank you, Lon. Thank you for not making it impossible.
I actually think, as a pretty hardcore Simpsons fan myself, that it is really easy, but I actually sent some of the questions to other Simpsons fans just to kind of get a better gauge, and they think it's like right on. So we'll see. I think you and I would ace it.
Okay, good. We'll find out tomorrow on SJU or whenever we end up doing that. But today we're talking about streaming. How do you guys feel about streaming? What is it? What is streaming?
Does it know things?
Yeah. You guys try out these streams? You guys streamed it?
You guys heard about these streaming services?
Yeah, you checked.
I mean,
out?
We're old enough. I'll put it this way: we're old enough to remember, cable, basic cable, when your TV had like 13 buttons on the side and each one was a channel, that kind of thing. Better or worse these days? Or what's better and what's worse?
I mean, look, TV is better now. Like, I liked TV when I was growing up, but like, I think it's hard to make the case that like the LA Law Commish era was better than like today. There's Watchmen and there's so much amazing stuff that goes on TV today that was not even thinkable in the past. So yes, I think in that way, streaming is great, but it also feels like we're in a growing pains. Like they kind of have to figure out how it's going to really work. And like, a lot of the original ideas that I think a lot of these companies had were the wrong ones. Like we've seen, just as a quick example, people love stuff like Tubi and Vudu and like Roku channels. Like I just want to put something on and leave it on. And that's kind of different from the Netflix, like pay us $8 a month and then binge The Crown sort of model.
Yeah. Part of me misses channel surfing, but I also think that was nostalgia. And if I were to actually do it, I would just be annoyed and feel bad after it was done.
You do channel surf. That's kind of what I was thinking was like, that's all we do now is just endlessly scroll through Netflix and go, I'll add that to my list.
That's worse. That's a definite downgrade. It's way more fun to channel surf and then stumble across something weird on television that you're going to try out, or just like a fun commercial even, than it is to browse endlessly. That's the worst thing of this modern era, is just to flip through the library.
But I do feel like there is a thing happening now where stuff that people would never have checked out before is just like in front of them, and so they'll watch it. And so we're all kind of being exposed to like weird other kinds of shows that probably wouldn't have stopped somebody if they were channel surfing. Like the most recent example I can think of is that Charlie Kaufman movie that went up on Netflix. It's like this crazy art film with Jesse Plemons, but nonetheless had like millions of people check it out when it went up because it was on the Netflix front page. Like, that's just interesting, and I don't know if we've seen what final impact that will have.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's like there's such this is like a real expansionary phase, and it's going to contract, although it already has. It's already kind of gone, the number of streaming services has gone up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
But I think like just in absolute numbers, people on the high end have like $30 a month that they're willing to spend on these things. Like that's 2 or 3 of them. And the rest of them are just going to be SOL, like, right? In 5 years, would this be a much shorter trailer?
Yeah, I think eventually some of these are going to start to merge. I think your real low hanging fruit, the stuff that's like in the starring section of this trailer, is going to go first. I think your crunchy rolls and which we forgot in the trailer.
That's part of HBO Max, right?
Yeah, kind of.
They have a hub that's like selected stuff from Crunchyroll, but it's not the full Crunchyroll catalog.
Yeah, but I think that stuff's going to be the first to merge, and then I honestly think your Paramount Pluses and your Peacock premiums and stuff are going to start to roll into the giants, into Apple, into Amazon and Netflix.
I mean, there is that AVOD model, what they call the advertising video on demand. So stuff like I think Peacock is interesting in that you can get a lot of the Peacock shows for free. You just have to watch ads, and 15 million people have already started watching Peacock. So like, I think there might be a way forward there. Like, I think Joe's absolutely right. Like, sign up for DC Universe and Paramount Plus and Crunchyroll and BET Plus and Disney Plus. Like, that model has its limits. People are only going to pay for so many of those. But I do think there might be, for the stuff that you aren't willing to pay for, but you still want to check out, there might be a road forward that's like more like that kind of a service where, it's like a Roku channel. Like, all right, I'll watch these 4 SNL sketches and then I'll watch an ad for my next 4 SNL sketches.
I think my bigger prediction is that in the next, 5 years, I don't know what the timeline is, but I think the next like earth-shattering like Disney bought Fox or Disney bought Fox and Marvel and Star Wars or whatever is going to be Apple buying Netflix. I think that'll one of the ones that just has an impossible amount of money, probably Amazon or Apple, is going to buy Netflix, and that's going to make everybody crap their pants. Rightfully so.
Or like I can see somebody creating a bundle of these things, and like finding them, the struggling ones banding together, and like how HBO Max is sort of an umbrella of different subscriptions, even though it's a partial selection. Right. You're right back to cable, and you find like one company, if you subscribe to this, then you get Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu, or whatever.
Which weirdly, I mean, not to take us down a whole different road here, but that opens up its own can of worms, because then you get these fights over, well, who controls the data? Like, who gets their hands on all that useful marketing information? Because that's the situation we have right now with like Peacock and Roku, where it took forever for Peacock to get on Roku because they both want to be the one that's selling the ads and to get all that juicy algorithmic, like who's watching what and who's going to buy all of this Garnier Fructis or whatever they're trying to sell in there. And that becomes the issue. And HBO Max is still not available on Roku for this similar kind of reason. So it's all going to be like, we're in a decade of figuring out how this whole market is going to work.
Who wants that Fructis? I know
it's a good smelling shampoo.
Yeah.
Throw it out there.
Smell like berries all day. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a long trailer, so we might as well get started with every streaming service. Roll it.
In a world where no one wants to pay for cable anymore, a culture will rise where every dumb media company thinks you like them enough to become a paid subscriber. But until narrative media fails completely, and we just stare at each other on social media all day, live through a time when there's too much to watch, the good stuff is hard to find, and everything is gonna cost you. Progress. Every streaming service. Remember the company...
I do think we will, not 5 years from now, but maybe 50 years from now, I think that we will be more likely to watch each other all day than we are to watch anything that was like written and produced by a group of people. Like,
so it's like TikTok is just going to be the thing.
Well, it'll be like 9 things from TikTok, but I do think that we're just going to be like staring at each other.
Yeah. I mean, again, different rabbit hole, but I think TikTok's already changed comedy. I think
music.
Yeah,
music business. Yeah.
Yeah, people already would rather watch. What's her? Sarah Cooper, the one that does the dubs of Trump.
The Trump
and then,
dubs. Yeah.
Blair. What's her name? Who does just the fake videos of like, I'm this racist governor's wife and I've got something to say. And they're so much more relevant and funnier and hitting so much harder than SNL or any of the like traditional I mean, it's already changing.
I think in 50 years we will all be mutants living in a cave somewhere.
Yeah, very true.
To avoid, the Lovecraft
could be
monsters
drying strips of venison on the freeway.
Yeah, like wow, very very optimistic that we're still going to have streaming services in 50.
But we will still be manipulating our devices with our weird club hands to watch Sarah Cooper do Trump dubs.
I can see that, and then being like, "Yes, get him. This is the one that'll bring him down." And
finally, that bastard.
we finally figured it out
with our one good tentacle. But like, finally,
we broke into the temple and found the Pelosi paw that'll.
Good times. All right.
Also, before we continue, Kevin, man, I just want people as they watch this trailer to appreciate Kevin, our editor.
Yes. Usually it's easier, not that it's ever easy, but it's easier because we're talking about one movie and he can just pull the clips from that movie. This is just complete like carte blanche. The script did not have very many guides on what to do.
Yeah.
He brought it together beautifully. And our graphics wizard, Robert Holtby, who created some amazing custom stuff for every
Right, has to like rip off the format and font and like look of every streaming service we talked about. Which is great.
So, also, bravo. I think just for Moulton last week, I think he hand painted the title.
Did he?
Yeah, we got an email that was like, "Hey guys, can you submit your fake title for Moulton like a week early because Holtby's going to hand paint the logo?" And it was I actually at first thought, like, is there a piece of software called hand paint? Like,
I figured that was like a software thing.
Yeah,
I think he hand painted the logo and then ran a camera.
No, well, okay. Retrospective props for that. I need to look at that logo again. Did he? Anyways, that's
Anyway, sorry. They're amazing, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone in chat and everything was sending them some love. So
yeah, they're great.
Yeah, it's like artists working, and then they're like, "What should we do next?" And it's like a bunch of goofballs in a room, like, I got an idea." It's ridiculous.
What a system. Okay, keep going.
Remember the company who used to send you DVDs that would sit unwatched on your coffee table? Now they're a streaming service full of shows that will sit unwatched in their own library, where the employees and the shows all get axed after 2 years because they're too cheap to give the cast and crew a pay bump, and too flush with cash to resist making a new show to boost signups in Outer Mongolia. But hey, at least they've made some of your favorites, resurrected some dead movie genres, and handed some great directors a blank check. Who cares if they're billions of dollars in debt? When your company name is a verb, the money printer goes Quickster. From the network.
Pause.
Yeah, I just you guys remember Quickster? I loved Quickster. That was insane. Those like emails that I got like maybe a couple days apart, like Netflix is now Quickster, and they're like, "We are so sorry, we are no longer Quickster."
We apologize for intimating that we were going to become Quickster, which is the idea that like they needed to like put the mailing you DVDs as its own company. Like you're going to forget that that's what Netflix used to do or something.
Yeah, that was a bad marketing call.
I was going to say, I wrote the first draft of that little run and we ended up cutting it anyway, but I spent so long thinking about what movie, because it was like that line was originally like, remember Netflix, the company that you still have their old copy of blank sitting in the back of your desk drawer? And I like agonized over what would be the funniest movie to still have. Like The Net, Boondock Saints, like what would you have rented 15 years ago and then still left in your desk?
I'm trying to think because like everyone has that last DVD that just sat there until they canceled their account.
A Legends of the Fall, perhaps.
There was one for me.
Drop Dead Fred.
Yeah, like a Galaxy Quest.
That's an instant watch. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Maybe Netflix still knows. Maybe I never turned it in.
I think The Net was probably the best. I think that's the one I actually put in the draft.
The Net.
Yeah. The issue with this is we all split this up. Everyone wrote their own little sections, and it ended up being like 20 pages long. So a lot of things had to get cut down. Sorry. Anyways, let's keep going.
From the network that brought you Star Trek, The Twilight Zone, and 10,000 shows about crime-solving acronyms, comes a streaming service that's chock full of exactly that. Plus, a bunch of shows that were designed to sell denture cream to viewers who haven't known how to change the channel on their TV since '97. It's a service who's been so fully ignored by non-Trekkies that their parent company is already changing the name. Good sign. No, it isn't. Too many tracks. Get ready
Pause.
for NBC.
I just want to shout out to the people who are in any way involved with, but in front of or behind the camera on any of those NCIS CSI shows, because they are set for life. My God.
Yeah, it's like 11 seasons each, those
Yes.
shows, and like
Yeah.
it also feels like, and full respect, like a lot of great actors on those shows. I'm not knocking it, but it does seem like as acting assignments go, you kind of figure out your mode, and then it's just like just do that forever.
Yep.
Like there's never it does those performances aren't like modulated episode to episode. It's like Stabler is Stabler no matter what.
That's what you come in for.
Morgan's paid by Dick Wolf, man. Yep.
Right, like Horatio Caine is not going to stop Horatio Caine.
Never.
He's going to take off those sunglasses and
I
put
mean,
them
there
back
might be
on.
new dimensions to Horatio Caine. Maybe even a Grisham crossover. But
Right.
you're really doing the same thing week to week.
Yeah,
And
it's
I really liked the first CSI when it came out. I watched CSI.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, yeah.
with
It was
William
great.
Peterson. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Grisham and Margot, what's her
Wait,
name?
Marg Helgenberger? Is that?
Mar-
Oh,
Yeah,
Mariska
Marco,
Hargitay?
Or no, that Mariska Hargitay is SVU. Come on,
Okay, excuse me.
come on, Olivia Benson, please.
But yeah, I can't believe that it can sustain an entire universe, but there you go for it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for them. I guess it doesn't lend itself well to streaming because CBS All Access is not doing so hot. People don't want that on demand. They want to like tune in on their TV every week,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think like in terms of the big subscription ones, the advantage of a Hulu or a Netflix is so huge. They've just got these massive libraries of just like weird niche nonsense and like old shows, and it's like really hard for these young upstart ones to compete on that level, like unless you've got like a huge lineup, like because they have some good shows on CBS All Access or like some interesting ones, but how do you fight Netflix? They've been doing this for years. There's hundreds of shows come out, like it seems like every month.
Well, I wonder too if CBS, if this is going to help CBS sort of realize that part of the success of these shows is that everyone's parents turn on CBS in the morning and then just leave it on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's on.
Well, I mean, that is part of the idea of going from the brand CBS to like all Viacom under Paramount.
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah,
they're
yeah.
going to start throwing Comedy Central stuff and Nickelodeon stuff and MTV stuff.
yeah.
And it'll start to feel more, broad soon. Like SpongeBob is all going to go there and whatever.
Look, if I can stream The Head from Liquid Television, I'm in.
If I can
yeah.
watch every
subscribe.
Rock and Jock game,
Holy God!
Yeah. You know what would
Yes.
be really valuable actually is if they could get the music rights to all the old Beavis and Buttheads, because you haven't been able to watch the music videos
Right.
in a long time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the animated shorts are everywhere, but the them talking over the music videos is like only on YouTube now.
that's
Same
right.
with the old, same with the State. Like when
Right,
they
all the
released it on
songs.
DVD, all the songs were gone.
When Michael Ian Black goes to buy pants, I
Yeah,
need to
you-
hear the Breeders' Cannonball.
Gotta
under
hear
that.
Cannonball, otherwise it doesn't work.
It doesn't work with that. Yeah. Right. What is in the little like tiny way? That's the best. Yeah.
Good song. All right, anyways, let's keep going. Music rights are tricky. Just listen to Kanye.
Get ready for NBC Universal's rushed late entry into the streaming race, which was supposed to make its big debut with the Tokyo Olympics, but instead limped out with a socially distanced 30 Rock reunion special promoting their other shows.
Do you know how many
this is bad.
amazing shows I have on Peacock alone?
That's a deal breaker, ladies. Still,
You see
if
Alec
you're looking
Baldwin's
for classic
face when
NBC
he's saying
programs
that?
like Friends, Seinfeld,
I love 30 Rock,
and
but come
ER, you also get ads. Sure, Hulu already tried this model and it failed, but did they have a cock in their name? I think cock, not have cocked. From the
And
people
pause.
who brought
Just the hubris of NBC thinking people really knew it as the peacock.
Oh yeah, even realize that NBC original logo is supposed to be a peacock.
Honestly, yeah, it was like it clicked when they said it. Like, oh yeah, that is kind of like a peacock's feathers, but
I thought it was half a Simon game.
half a Simon. That would have been a better streaming service name. Is Half Simon.
Half Simon Plus.
Yeah, I guess this is why they just go with the most boring plus thing, because everything else is either taken or
We're stupid.
or if you call it NBC, none of the NBC shows you like are on it.
Right. I think that's why they had to avoid NBC, because you think NBC, you're like, oh, I'm going to go watch Friends and Seinfeld. It's like, slow down.
No. Yeah.
About
No, you're
that. Yeah.
What a bummer. Names are hard.
They do have all of Parks and Rec on Peacock now, which I have been enjoying.
They got
like,
Frasier.
Yeah,
Frasier's great.
Wings. You can watch the full run of Wings. That's true. That's
When
a true story.
your centerpiece shows are 30 Rock reunion specials, Wings and Frasier, you're in trouble
Man.
from the get-go.
That 30 Rock reunion special was dire. And I love 30 Rock. I was really excited, but man,
Yeah, you'd think that like any show like them would be up to the moment of doing like a meta isn't
Right.
this weird that we're
But
all
it-
here
it seemed
thing.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like they didn't let them do a 30 Rock. They had
Right.
them do the 30 Rock sketch for the upfronts, basically.
Right. It was such a bad call to like launch on the back of that dumb thing instead of like
Well-
something. And like a Brave New World adaptation, like way to get Americans excited.
Well, this is something else we cut that should be in the deleted scenes that was about all the UK stuff that
It's all British.
that they're rebranding as originals. And a lot of these places do that. Like a lot of the Hulu originals and stuff like that, like Letterkenny, it's called a Hulu original, but like it's a show that aired in Canada and then they just bought it.
Yeah. I guess a little behind the scenes magic. We were going to do this earlier in the summer when everything was originally scheduled to drop, but then a couple of the streaming services kept pushing
Right.
because I think they were just hoping that all of this was going to end and they could launch with the Olympics. So, so I think NBC was the holdout, and we kept sort of like pushing this back until
Right.
Yeah, Peacock was the one we were waiting on.
Yeah, because NBC every year gets they do the Olympics broadcast. So their idea was, well, all the time on TV, they'll be like, and go to Peacock for more. And then if you were on Peacock, it would just be like, here's, you missed this swim race. Here it is, and that was their plan. And then it was like, no, there's no Olympics ever again. Sorry.
Too bad. I like the Olympics.
They just had to like innovate, and they just didn't do a great job of coming up with like the next thing. It's sort of like HBO Max too, where they were going to launch with like, we got all 6 friends and we put them in Central Perk, stare at them, and now they can't do it.
That's the future of entertainment. It's what I'm telling you. Like just
Like,
human
just put-
aquariums.
Well, it is. I mean, that Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston like reading the script of Fast Times was like the most viral clip of last week. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, but at a certain point, all pop culture will devour itself in this kind of Ready Player One conflagration, and all that will be left is the bodies. Anyways, let's keep watching.
In the body suits that interact.
From the people who brought you everything in your apartment comes the only service in the streaming wars who's listening to everything you're doing. Alexa, let's chat.
I really hope
See?
that triggers
Who brings you
people's lives.
edgy, acclaimed programming,
it did.
an unfathomable amount of absolute crap, and free 2-day shipping courtesy of a modern-day feudal peasant. But don't worry, they're working on turning them into delivery drones, which are just a turret gun away from becoming murder drones. I feel like Bezos is the only one taking the streaming wars literally. Cyberdyne
That's part of the
Prime.
trailer.
Love YouTube but hate how
pause.
free.
Yeah, Amazon's such a weird. It's so weird that they're in the business that they're in. Like, it doesn't seem to like the business of Amazon is so complicated or multifaceted because it's like their business is like selling server space. Like that's where they make most of their money is like web servers. And then like as an afterthought, they're putting every store out of business. And as an afterthought to that, they're like saving like indie film. It's like
Well, I think that's the weird goal is like the server space is the foundation. And then I think he honestly just wants to kill everything. Like, it's that diapers.com story where he was like, screw you, diapers.com. I'll just sell diapers dirt cheap until you die. I think that's what so he's just like, I'm going to save indie film until indie film dies everywhere else.
I mean, that's what's fascinating is all these other companies we're talking about, like, this is all they're trying to do. Like, we got a streaming service. We got to come up with one. We got to compete with Netflix. For Amazon and Bezos, it's literally just the marketing. Like, he just wants you to sign up for Prime So you give him his $100 a year or whatever, and then he can send you like every time you need batteries or a lighter, he can just ship that to you. That's the goal. It has nothing to do with like maybe a new season of The Expanse. That's just like, how can I get you dum-dums to give me this money every year for the shipping? And then I'll throw in Utopia, Gillian Flynn's new thing. You know?
And then I think there's a decent chance that he's also hoping you'll like a show enough that once everyone's morality catches up with them and we're like, hey, maybe we can just have our stuff in 5 days so that people can have pee breaks. He'll be like, but if we do that, you don't get The Expanse.
But I can't miss Wheel of Time.
Hold it. Hold your bladder.
I got to see Wheel of Time season 4. So keep sending me the batteries. Yeah.
It's so true. Yeah, I think Amazon and Apple is also like they're in the business of selling you dongles or whatever.
Right. Well, Apple, it's like they want it to, like still Steve Jobs' weird thing of it's all going to be like, you got to be here with us the whole time, like walled garden, like don't ever leave Apple's ecosystem. So it's part of that. Like they want you to use your Apple TV and your Apple remote and your Apple device to watch Apple shows.
And then HBO Max is like their division of AT&T. Like they just want to sell cable internet subscriptions to you. So we're in this weird historical moment where nobody needs to care about what they're making, which is
Viacom. They're like Viacom's still like, look at this, we got a movie studio.
The weird move to me is
we used to make booze, I think. I don't know. It's French or something.
The weird move to me, and I think we'll see it happen at some point, is like when AT&T like buys Walmart. And then it's just like, yes, like we sell you jeans, we sell you shows, and like that's their big somehow Amazon competition. And that's just when we start to go full Wayland Yutani.
Yeah, I mean it's horrific in the effect it has on everybody's lives sense that 6 companies are going to own everything, but it's freeing at this particular time artistically because they don't care what they put on there. I think for better and worse, because sometimes they could use some more TLC, but they are handing these creators money to just be like, just make something, just give us hours of stuff that we can put on our service and just say that we have it.
Oh, there are truly bonkers things that somehow get through and made on these services. You're like, how? Like, what was this meeting? Like, how did he do this?
It is it's a massive version of, we sort of like, we always talk about like the thing that Quibi was good for was in the early days, they were just giving everyone shows and lots of our friends were paying their rent because Quibi was like, what do you want to do? You want to do a craft show about making dolls out of recycled plastic? Sure. Yeah. Here's
Mrs. Maisel is obsessed with her golden arm. Here's $100,000.
But it's like that on like this global scale. It's or like the steak and potatoes days of Defy when they were just like, what does Smosh want to do? Sneeze for 15 minutes? Okay, here's $5 million.
Yeah.
Hey, that video clicked well, Joe.
But it's like that. Yeah, it's like that with like A-list directors who are just like, I don't know, Apple's letting me do whatever I want,
Yeah, there's a Netflix 2.5-hour movie that this Japanese like auteur experimental filmmaker Sion Sono did called The Forest of Love. It's like about this con artist and serial killer. And then not only did they let him make a 2.5-hour movie, but then they let him expand it into a mini series. It's like, what? Like, who's funding this?
Wild days.
Like, it's great for me, but like, what's wrong with you?
I mean, they handed Ryan Murphy $300 million to just produce Mad Libs.
Oh my God. Have you guys seen Ratchet? Have you watched Ratchet?
No.
It's pure insanity.
Bonkers. It's pure insanity. It's
I was really like, after I tried Hollywood, it's like, I just think his stuff is not for me.
This is like, it's supposed to be a Cuckoo's Nest prequel, but it's like Hannibal. Like, it's just crazy.
So weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Anyway, they're all cashing in.
Yeah.
Why?
Get that money. Let's keep going.
Wow, you can't.
Love YouTube but hate how free it is? Like Reno 911, but wish there was less of it? Then come on over to Quibi, where you can watch new originals, or just wait until they're ruthlessly mocked on Twitter, like Lady in Love with her golden arm.
You've got to take off that prosthetic.
No. I can't take off my golden arm. Ever.
Or third wave feminist sex doll road trip.
I have pee anxiety. Can you
But what Quibi lacks in content, and also lacks in anyone willing to pay for this there isn't even any joy in this. It's like making fun of a sick dog. I hope someone takes Quibi out for one last run around the park before it's too late. You're a good boy, Queebs. Okay, maybe not good, but okay. You're an okay boy. 7 minutes in Methvin. Hey, you.
Pause.
Yeah, there's not much to add to that. Like we're only adding to the pile-on of Quibi, but I think that the reason that I feel okay with the pile-on in this case is the hubris again of Jeffrey Katzenberg and what's her name, Meg Whitman.
Meg Whitman.
Yeah, of just being like, no, we get it. We know what kids want to do. They want to pay for the things they already do, but worse. The way they hosed everybody is why everyone's relishing their downfall.
It's honestly astounding how much 2020 Quibi is like 2010 YouTube. Like it's all the content is so like every single one of their unscripted series could have been a BuzzFeed video in like 2011. Like the same exact concept and execution. Like it's like they didn't ever watch YouTube and realize like, oh, this has been free on the internet for like a decade. We should probably not charge for it.
I'm just glad that Fandom didn't receive an RFP from Quibi this morning with the honest
Golden
trailer.
Arm is ours.
We still might.
Yeah, we still might.
I will say, Reno 911, it's funny. It's very funny, even in small little doses.
They're great.
It's a sketch show. Why wouldn't this? I think that's great. I wouldn't pay however much a month to watch just that. But if you like Reno 911, the gang's all back together.
But also, if you ever wanted to understand like just how much money billionaires have, if I tanked a project and lost $1,000, I'd be screwed. They're losing billions, and they're just like, meh.
You know, Jeffrey Katzenberg.
It's not their own money.
Yeah, you know, Jeffrey Katzenberg's going to like bounce back. This isn't the end for him. He'll be fine. Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
If you watch that Howard Ashman documentary that's on Disney Plus, which I highly recommend, it's great. There's a scene where Menken and Ashman pitch Aladdin like front to back, like with songs to Jeffrey Katzenberg. They're like, and then it's going to be Prince Ali, and he's going to sing this song, and then they're going to go to the genie, and it's like done, and you're like, that was amazing, and he's like, no, and he just sends them to go work on Beauty and the Beast. Like, that should have been the end of your career. What are you doing? Who rejects Aladdin?
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine those guys singing you A Whole New World, and you're like, meh, next.
Can I watch it on a phone in 10 minutes?
Can you flip it vertically and it'll still look good? No, get out of my office.
Does the genie have a golden arm?
Well, you know what? He made Shrek, so he's still good in my book. Without Katzenberg, there'd be no.
There'd be no All-Star.
Yeah. Why not launch Quibi with the Shrek show? We've talked about this. Whatever. Anyway, move on, donkey.
And without Meg Whitman, we wouldn't have. I don't know. Wasn't she a Republican governor or something?
Yeah, like she wouldn't have her failed gubernatorial campaign.
We wouldn't have all that good Yahoo content. All right, let's keep going.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Who needs an all-new service? We know why we're both here together. You don't want another new show to watch. You want to watch a show talk about that show.
I do, I'm sorry. Guilty as charged.
Then maybe leave a naughty little comment down below. Go ahead. Say whatever you want. Does Netflix let you do that? Call us a bunch of Sims. It only boosts our engagement metrics. Now, let's get wild and see where the recommended videos take us. Ooh, a flat earth essay? You always know what the dumbest, worst people are looking for. America's saddest home videos.
Pause. I mean, I don't have much to add to that. That's YouTube.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Watching people talk about things that you watch somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or like 5 a.m. wife prank.
I just really want to see, Ben Shapiro destroy some college students,
SJW destroyed of Facts and Logic.
Yeah.
We bought a ghost on the dark web.
Blank movie was a complete cinematic failure.
Yeah,
I accidentally joined Nexium.
Yeah,
Logan Paul fights who? It'll surprise you.
That's it. Those
are all of them.
And us. Good for us.
Still
sticking with it.
We did it.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
Do you like Friends? You better, because showing the reruns cost about $500 million. So give some money to the service that still has all the great HBO shows, the best of Adult Swim, and a huge chunk of the Criterion Collection. But it's all being subsidized by the dullards who want to watch this for the 900th time.
How you doing?
It's funny because it's... Wait, why is it funny? Friends with benefits. Remember
Pause.
regular TV...
I think that HBO Max is my personal favorite streaming service.
It
They've
is
got
good.
so much good stuff.
Yeah.
So I just watched the Parallax View last night.
Yeah. In terms of movies, like it's a much higher, like they don't have as many movies as Netflix or Amazon, but it's a much higher caliber, like a lot more classic movies and movies you really want to rewatch.
Like I'm pretty confident I could find something I want to watch on there at any point.
Yeah,
whereas I don't feel that way about any of the other ones.
Show-wise, they're killing it too.
Right. I was gonna say
great.
Adult Swim.
Lovecraft,
They've really started to beef out the Adult Swim library and those back libraries. And so like now you can watch Sea Lab or Space Ghost or I think Aqua Teen is coming soon. Like
the app itself feels really buggy.
Oh yeah, it's kind of crummy,
which is frustrating. But I think once they get that sort of figured out. Speaking of their Adult Swim hub, y'all watch this Tigtone? Y'all seen that? Y'all heard of this Tigtone?
No.
You should watch it. I watched the first two, and they've stayed in my brain. They're real weird and screwed up. And,
is that the fantasy one? It's like a parody of like high fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it's really nuts.
It's the best Adult Swim. That's what it does. It sticks to your brain.
I am wearing a Victorville Film Archive shirt. I'm not sure if speaking of Adult Swim.
I don't even know if I liked it.
Yeah, it's on Cinema at the Cinema, the Victorville Film Archive.
Yeah.
I don't know if I liked it, but I can't
Tom
stop
goes
thinking
to the
about
mayor.
it. Oh, Tom Goes to the Mayor.
Yes, yes. A 12-ounce mouse. I was rewatching some 12-ounce mouse the other night. It's great. That's great. I like that like library of content.
They need to drop Venture Brothers.
Yeah.
It is. I think that's like later this year or early 2021 that's moving over, but yes, that's coming.
The only perplexing thing to me is, and I'm assuming this is coming too, is this Cinemax has like a bunch of really good critically acclaimed shows, and they are under the AT&T Warner Brothers hub. And right now, there's no plans to put those on HBO Max. And I just feel like no one can make anything new right now, and you have like 10 shows that could be runaway hits.
I feel like they're gonna do it's like one of the DC Universe things where they they know that Cinemax at some point is gonna get folded in, and it's just like they have to figure that timeline out first before they announce when the shows are gonna move over. But yeah, like Banshee and Warrior and like those shows are definitely coming to HBO Max at some point.
The Red Shoe Diaries.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They need to do the horny 90s HBO hub on HBO Max, which is just Red Shoe and Taxi Cab and Real Flicks.
Actually brand it Skinemax.
Yeah, I didn't realize they made 8 Poison Ivies. Wow.
Yeah. Look, just...
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I just you go on Skinemax. Like, wow, they kept making
I
those.
mean, I think they did. But like Shudder has Joe Bob Briggs.
She's 4?
Like Shudder has Joe Bob Briggs hosting horror shows. Like pay Shannon Tweed some money and just have her like curate Skinemax. That'd be hilarious.
Yes, that's awesome. That's a great idea.
All right, we're giving away too much good stuff for free. Let's keep watching.
That's what we do.
Remember regular TV shows? Hulu remembers Go Green for the service that acts as a life raft for all the rapidly drowning cable channels, plus originals that target the women who are going through a lot right now demographic, with flexible options like paying to just watch Hulu, paying to watch Hulu without ads, paying to watch Hulu and live TV, or paying to watch Hulu and live TV with premium add-ons. And okay, we're just back to being cable again, aren't we? I see your game, Hulu. Disney Minus. Experience a higher caliber of programming.
I don't really know what's going on with Hulu. It seems like it's like I don't think Disney really knows what they're doing with it either.
It got a lot better recently because of the FX on Hulu merge.
Yeah.
Like now that all the FX content is done being just on FX.com and is moved over to Hulu, it's like astronomically better. Like, even like Fargo is premiering next week, and it'll be on Hulu and it's going to be on Hulu the day after it's on FX instead of having to wait like months to catch up with it. So like cool. That's awesome. Like instead of like devs going right onto Hulu, like that made Hulu that like doubled Hulu's value overnight. Unless you're just like really into the Masked Singer and you want to watch it over there.
Yeah, I do think that you're right. The Masked Singer, and I do think like the ads we've all seen, like they have sports, which is a huge deal for a TV service. Like that's the only reason people hang on to cable. So if you're looking to cut the cord, this is the one. But yeah, I just don't see it. Like I don't see why Disney would want to keep it around because like. Well, it's because it doesn't really have a clear brand, and they don't really control everything. So it's like stuff is it just like kind of a dumping ground?
Well, it's because they don't want to put more adult stuff on Disney Plus because the Disney Plus brand is like kids, families, and they don't want to put anything on there that's got like an F word or whatever. So something like Woke, the new one with Lamorne Morris, is like it's a little too grown up for Disney Plus. So that's what job Hulu is filling right now. Yeah. Like moving forward, I don't know if that'll always be its role, but that's certainly its role. In this moment.
The important thing is that that's where you can watch Pen 15.
Oh, good show.
Yes, right. Another great example of like a great original show that wouldn't fit anywhere else Disney streaming.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's keep going.
Experience a higher caliber of programming, crafted to meet the precise standards of the company behind the Thunderbolt to USB dongle, the Lightning to headphone jack adapter, and $1,000 stick. Featuring storytelling so refined and exclusive, nobody you know has ever seen or talked about it. You can't tell me Blind Aquaman Viking Show and The Office Where Michael Gets Me Too'd are real. This has to be part of some kind of elaborate tax scam or something. I pass. Once upon a time...
Lon, I know you've seen them, but you have to, right, for the newsletter?
I write a newsletter about streaming shows, so I did buy, I got a couple months of Apple Plus and I watched a bunch. Servant, the one that M. Night Shyamalan produces, is legitimately really good. I really like that show. I recommend it. It's creepy. It's weird. It's got Lauren Ambrose from 6 Feet Under and Toby Kebbell from he's like the evil gorilla or whatever in the Planet of the Apes movies. Like that one's really good. Everything else is weird and interesting, but I don't know if I would say good. The blind Jason Momoa adventure show is insane.
Is the Always Sunny gaming show any good? Mythic Quest?
It's funny. I mean, it's very much like workplace comedy, but with gaming. Obviously written by people who know that world and gaming tropes and whatever. And it's a pretty good send up of gaming culture right now. F. Murray Abraham is amazing. He's like the Creed. He just pops in to say 3 crazy things per episode and then leaves. And it's amazing. He's the best part of the whole show.
I just do think that more so, we've been talking about this earlier, but more so than any of them, Apple just has too much money on hand that they don't really know what to do with. So they're like, let's make shows. Sure. That's a decimal error on our balance sheet.
Yeah, I think the worrying part was when some of the creators started being like, yes, we get notes from Apple executives who are like, hey, maybe the show should do this. And some of them, it does kind of feel that way. They're just decisions and choices that I don't feel like this is where it originally went. This feels very odd to me. And so, yeah, that's an issue. How is that not going to be an issue?
Oh, I can totally see current Apple executives being like, you'll take this note. We invented Pixar. And someone be like, well, you didn't invent Pixar. And they're like, it got invented next door. And I'm on the same campus. Yeah, I can see Apple getting a little...
Could the blind dystopian residents discuss the use of a USB-C port instead of the traditional USB?
How much more convenient that is.
It would really help us with our Q3 rollout.
Yeah. Well, they could do whatever they want. I haven't seen any of it. Anyways, let's keep going.
Once upon a time, a magical company was drunk with power, dominating the movie theaters, cruise lines, and the happiest place on earth for kids and weird adults with too much time and money. But then a plague took all the revenue streams away and put all the pressure on the little streaming service that could. But with the help of a few great shows, a vault full of nostalgia, and literally nothing else of value, you just might forget to unsubscribe long enough for the MCU stuff to come out. The Mickey Mouse Hub. Starring these other streaming services we didn't have time to mention. Too spooky for me. Crackle still around? Good for you, Crackle. Sports without the actual games. Games without the actual games. Regular-ass TV all over again. OnlyFans. What? What's that one? I don't recognize that one, guys. Sorry. And, yeah, I don't know where you guys are even getting these from. I've never heard of them personally, that's for sure. Every streaming service.
Look at that. That looks so good.
Yeah,
Let's just pray these places never catch on that we're all sharing the same account login.
And yeah, props to giving each of us our own unique little icon, which we had no input in, but I think they did a good job without us.
Very, very well done.
Yeah,
These are
pretty
super
solid.
good.
Is
Good-
Lon,
good
you're like some type of you're a sword.
I'm just-
what
I'm
sword is
just
that?
a
I know that
sword?
sword where like people are like, that's a happy face, but it's actually something serious.
Yeah, I don't know whose sword that is. Somebody let us know in the comments.
What am I? The bad guy from Polar Express or something?
That's what we call you when you're not around.
Oh, damn it.
Spencer, he's being a real bad guy from the
No,
real
you're Count Olaf from Lemony Snicket. That's NPH as the evil uncle from Lemony Snicket's
There you
series
go.
of unfortunate events.
Careful, guy! Don't try to look too closely at this tiny image that's on your screen, or we're all gonna look like Josh Gad on those reunion shows where he's just always like this.
Hey! Do you guys like the Goonies?
I thought you were going to say Josh Gad in, God, you said Lemony Snicket. Artemis Fowl. What accent is he doing? No one knows.
No, it's
No one's sure.
Doesn't matter.
all bananas. Yeah.
He's Gad.
All right, this is a long one, so let's, if there's time, let's do some deleted scenes, if we got them queued up.
Actually, loads of things that I auditioned for at the beginning of the year and didn't get any of them. I had that moment of, oh my god, and then just thought everything in its right time.
Flicks.
A lot of people kind of, will come
going
at
on?
Daisy.
What are we
and
Hey,
say
pause.
it's maybe a reflection of her work in the sequels.
Pause.
She's not the greatest actress
Moulton?
that we had in the sequel trilogy, which I could kind
Moulton?
of understand. I would argue, someone like John Boyega, maybe even Oscar Isaac, maybe higher performing actors.
Wait, is this
than
on my
Daisy
computer?
is.
I'm gonna
I
quit
mean, I
the-
saw
Yeah,
my
no,
browser.
I had the same thought. Like, am I doing this? But no, I'm not. Just roll through it. Just roll.
Moulton, if you ever start watching Brazzers while we're live, we're
screwed.
we're really screwed, man.
Whoa, what's that? I've never heard of that before.
By the way, some all-time great reads from John on that starring.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Flickster. Detflix. Debt Finance and Chill. Must see TV somewhere else. Billions and billions and billions. Short-sighted. Queefy. Useless. The one with sports. Doo-doo. Hbo.
And that's it. All right. Well, there.
I wrote
I know for
one
a fact
thing-
we had the UK shows all coming to Peacock, and it was really
Right.
funny because everything was so British on there.
British.
Yeah, I wrote one run that we didn't end up producing, and I get it because it would have been a huge pain in the ass, but it made me laugh to put it together. Was all the Netflix shows that are like strong, independent lady detectives investigating like an over-the-top murder from all around the world, because like they've made one of those shows from literally every country.
Right.
So you
They
could
do the
just
thing
string-
like
yeah.
reality shows used to do or still do that, where it's like if a format works
Yeah.
in the UK or in the US or in Australia, they make a different version for every region.
it's
and
always
Netflix
like-
does the same thing with show
yeah,
concepts.
Her husband
Circle,
just
Brazil.
died, or her marriage just fell apart, or her husband died 10 years ago, and there's like a cold case that she's got to go. Like, there are just like so many of that one kind of show from every European and South American country.
Yeah.
Hey, when the template works, you know.
Yeah. All right, let's fire off a few fan questions. Not overstare, welcome. But Adam Hulbert writes, "Where did the sexy voice idea come from?" Joe, that was yours, right?
That was mine. I don't know. I took like 4. I sent you like all 4, I think. I took like 4 cracks at the YouTube thing, and they were all pretty much saying the same thing. Like the joke was, you don't want to watch The Witcher. You want to watch an Easter egg video about The Witcher, or guy reacts to The Witcher. And they just weren't funny. And then I just like the idea of YouTube seducing you into being a horrible person.
Yeah, it's also nice to like just change it up because these can be a little bit.
Yeah, they can be
repetitive,
really.
So having a different tone for some. Arceus, Lord of Creation, writes, "Eventually it will all just be Screen Junkies Plus." Whereas Brent Dreyer writes, "Just wait until Screen Junkies Deluxe launches." Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, I
Sounds
like that.
Sounds like a lot of work for us. A lot more like, recommend this movie or that movie in this other studio. I don't know. Talk about it.
That sounds like one of those moves where they're like, guys, we got a great idea. It's called Screen Junkies Deluxe, and here's what we want it to be. And we go, can more people help? And they go, no.
No, do it.
But Kevin Smith is going to unbox things, guys. Get on.
Tiffany Sandmeyer writes, Walmart's Voodoo didn't even make an honorable mention. I think it was in that grid of regular ass TV.
Yeah.
Unless we
I think it was.
Tubi. I think Tubi got in and
Tubi.
Voodoo didn't, but they're like
okay.
pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I think the big ones we missed
Pluto
were...
also. Pluto.
I think
TV
also
didn't make it
Walmart
either.
sold Voodoo. Probably because it's not a very Christian name. I mean,
Yeah,
mixing with Voodoo.
No voodoo in that house.
Yeah.
And then
They
finally,
don't practice Santeria.
let's end on a tie-in question. This is for Lon about the Fandom 5. Is the Simpsons movie fair game? This is Miss Orsa asking.
You know what? I don't know if there are any questions about it that made the final cut, but yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if we touched on it, that would be fair. It's part of Simpsons lore.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. So check that out. Fandom 5, this Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. You'll be asked questions about largely the golden age of The Simpsons and maybe something about the movie and maybe something about the new stuff.
It's a smattering of earlier or later stuff, but
yeah,
mostly.
A light smattering, yeah. No Tracy Ullman show. Well, maybe. We'll see.
No.
All right, that's our show for today. Come back next week where we'll be talking about next week's Honest Trailer, which is something that will make the sky look pretty at night. If you go out on the last day of summer today, you might go outside and see something pretty that'll give you a clue into next week's Honest Trailer. At least I think that's next week.
I'm not even sure I know what this is.
Hang on.
No, that works. You'll see. You'll come back next week and you'll all see. Thank you, Lon. Thank you, Joe.
That's very poetic, buddy.
Yeah.